Hi everybody, welcome to BrickVault, this is Mike and welcome to another top 10 mocks video. That's where we show our favorite top 10 mocks of the last passing week and in somewhat of a top 10 fashion. And at the end of the episode I'm showing all the fan creations that were sent to our BrickVault Fan MOCs email. If you wanna send more for next week, if you wanna get featured in the episode, all the rules are below in the description and the email is appearing right now on the screen. Also guys, don't forget to check back to our web store at www.brickvault.toys where we provide a lot of awesome mocks, that means instructions and parts list for great creations and models. We keep updating them as we go. Some are big, some are small. There is something for everybody, so check that out. Every purchase you guys make supports our channel directly and also the designers that we work with for our store. Please note that I'm putting these mocks not in the order that are the best, it's just a list of 10 of my favorite mocks from last week, so the ranking does not really matter. This first one here is coming from Micah Beideman, and that is a sci-fi city in micro scale, and that is, I think, a definition of proper gribbling in a very nice form. First, you can see that the walls of the city are made of the rubber tracks that are used in some of the, I think, Technic vehicles in LEGO. And the whole mock is only consisting of 3 colors, the black of those tracks, some transparent blue of some detail elements, and mostly just light bluish green for all the city landscaping. And this simplicity and great idea won me over for this mock, but don't get fooled, I think this was taking a bit of time to create, as many of the techniques used and the ideas for putting the pieces together are not that simple. Must be one of the most original mocks I've seen in microscale so far this year, and glad I have it on my top 10 list for this week. Going further into microscale, this is number 9 from Star Wars, and that's coming from Grantmasters, the mock called Rebel Assault. I can see this build being inspired by JK Brickworks Kinetic Sculptures builds, just the smaller form is very cute and very well executed actually. As you can see on this short video, the mock is, kinetic as it's supposed to be, so some controls in the back actually move the X-Wing in the front, the TIE Fighter in the back, and the Imperial turret on the trench run. We have seen a number of different depictions of the famous trench run from the New Hope, and this one seems to be the cutest I've seen so far. Wonderful little build and even better execution. But going a bit bigger with number 8, there is not as much of a micro scale, kind of a midi scale or maybe micro fighter scale, let's call it like that. That is Battle of Crait by Boba 1980. And yes, if you see closely, all these vehicles visible on the battlefield are somewhat of this micro fighter type of build. I like the build for the battering ram in the middle, and I think the walkers, the ATM-6 walkers on both sides, are upgraded from the official set. And there's also this big walker in the middle that I forgot the name of, but I think it appears in the movie at some point. The build for the wall of the Crait base in the back is actually pretty impressive in this scale, and the defensive turrets are also a build to be very amazed by. And on top of that, you have a great gribbling for the salty surface of the Crait planet, and all these pieces together add up for a really nice display, possibly one of the best Craits I've seen, and especially I think the first one I've seen in this scale. I'm gonna keep it Star Wars in this episode for a few more minutes. This one is coming from Team Goddard, and that is the beloved Y-Wing. Tim is one of my favorite builders trying to approach the vehicles in this somewhat of a midi scale. He did a number of awesome things, including the M-Tron mech that I really liked in one of the previous episodes, and this Y-Wing is nothing short of spectacular for his type of building. I think the execution of the pylons for the engines deserves a prize in this one, and the shape of the cockpit is captured really pretty much perfectly in this small scale. The build for the astromech droid is a nice touch, and I like the fact that he used a number of newer pieces coming I think from this year, like those corner tiles, to recreate the gribbling in the main body of the ship. Same goes for the stand, you can see a lot of details there using those new parts, and overall it is a perfect model to have on your desk, maybe next to the famous Bandai models of Star Wars ships. Alright, changing things up a bit, this one is coming from a user named #1 Nomad. The build is called Shantytown, and my first look at this mock kind of pictured the Ninjago city in my mind for some reason. I mean, maybe because there are some of the Ninjago inspired minifigures at the very bottom of the mock, and some of the Far Eastern decals at the very top of the mock, and maybe some of the structure and colors that remind of the mashup that is the Ninjago city. But of course what captures your eye about this mock is the canted display of this artistic part, if I may, and a great use for Easter eggs throughout this vertical build. I think I see some octane colors and a homage to classic space with blue and grey. Overall it doesn't make much sense, but that's what makes makes this mock that interesting. Just very creative use of bricks and some great unique imagination of a Lego builder. I recommend checking out different builds from this designer because some of them are even more unique than this one. On the number 5 I have another diorama that caught my attention this week. This comes from Tirrell Brown and the build is called Alien Construct. First impression, some sort of a Protoss building from StarCraft. Looks like a lush green landscape of Ayur, the Protoss homeworld, and definitely the shape of the pyramid is something to be really amazed by. The studless build with some bricks going out is really impressive, and it also goes very well down to a very lush green jungle with some sort of an alien exploration team approaching the construct. I like the irregular shape of the display and some creative use of pieces for the foliage. I really like the technique used for building those trees and those blue elements of I think half bowl for adding some contrast in the color of the flowers. Going up to number 4 we have a Lego build sword. This build is coming from Shen Mayo aka Random Vector. I'm not sure how he achieved the glowing effect on the sword, it might be just Photoshop photography or just a bunch of light bricks in there, but really the presentation of this build is catching some eyes. The build for the handle deserves a separate mention, looks very realistic like a real katana would look like, and the build is inspired by the weapon used by Genji in the Blizzard game Overwatch. I think the sword is built in a way that you can actually swoosh it around, it's built to be held by a person, and it's overall a really cool approach. I barely see such melee weapons in Lego form. And moving up to number 3 we have quite an impressive build coming from Zachary Milenius. This one is called the Imperial Castle. I don't even know where to start. First we have a quite amazing ship, I think that is a pirate ship or some sort of an adversary approaching the island with red sails. The ship defending it seems to be smaller in size and also as impressive in build. And then we have this massive rock formation along with a piece of a beach and a towering castle or just a tower pretty much towering above everything else. I mean, the vertical composition of this build is impressive alone, and this build had its debut on BrickVault 2018 in Chicago. Really mesmerizing, and let me just give you some numbers. The mock is a little over 4 feet tall, 4 feet long and 2 feet wide, and won a quite deserved award of BrickVault 2018 called the best individual layout. And I agree with that. But keep that epicness in mind for number 2, and this is a scene I really liked to see recreated in Lego. Not a very popular scene from the latest Solo movie, but one that did stick in my head. This is Lady Proxima's Liar from the Solo movie by Nooroyd, and I remember that scene being shot in this blue filter, somewhat of a different, weird setting. And pretty much the designer of this one recreated this to a perfection. The only thing that's digital in this mock photography are those red light elements on the walls here and there, but everything else was actually just built from Lego and probably put under some blue light or some filter or Photoshop. I'm impressed with the towering build of Lady Proxima. You don't really see the details, but I can see it's using a lot of awesome gribbling, and the light especially makes it pop in this picture. And probably you can stare at this picture for several minutes to find all the awesome details, for example the gribbling on the walls and all the characters that were visible in that scene of the film. Pretty much every single element of this has something unique in it, and remember, it's all made out of Lego. So quite impressed with this build. I wish this builder was posting more stuff on Flickr because I think that's his first build in several years, but what a comeback. And for number 1 I have chosen something that we do not post very often here at the BrickVault Top 10 Mocks, and this is a Technic build. This one is coming from a master Technic builder, I would call him like that, Jeroen Ottens, and this is the legendary Ferrari Testarossa. Even though it's Technic again, the shape of the car is captured perfectly, along with those lines that made the iconic look of the car from the side. The pop-up lights were also quite a known feature for this one, and even the interior is recreated very well, using a mix of Technic and just regular bricks. I like this style of building Technic cars, mixing bricks and Technic. Lego has started using it for the latest models. I think some of it was shown in the Mac Anthem truck and also the Bugatti Chiron. And definitely that is a car that Lego may actually consider making maybe for the next big Technic model. For me it pretty much looks like it's ready to go as an official set. And while Jeroen shown the beautiful Testarossa, he also is working on the Liebherr LTM 11200 massive crane build, also fully made of Technic. You should definitely check out his Flickr page for all the details of the mechanism of the crane and the impressive size of it, and also be sure to check out his Aston Martin DB9 Volante that he posted some time ago. For me, Jeroen is one of the most insane Technic builders right now in the community. And those were the 10 favorite MOCs for this week for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this selection. And now it is time to show off your fan creations that you guys are sending to our email. Again, the email is on the screen, the rules are below. Long story short, 5 pictures per MOC, try to take them in your best possible quality, and make sure you attach the pictures to the actual email. We do not accept any links. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, you can leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and also click the bell button to be notified whenever we make a new video. Alright, here are your MOCs, guys. Thanks so much for watching. It was Mike, and I'll see you next time on BrickVault.